Hey everyone, Lee Roth with the Dent Training Institute. Hope everyone out there is having a great year, a great hail season, and just hope everybody's happy, healthy, and wise. Not too many wise out there, but anyhow, I want to take a moment to introduce someone that is just finishing up his 2 weeks of training with me out here, Mr. Taylor Vance, and Taylor. It's a cool situation. I've known his dad for a long time, Rodney Vance. I'm sure a bunch of you all know or have heard of Rodney. Taylor's been kind of working with him a little bit. I'll let you tell more of that story for the last couple of years. But as most of y'all know, I'm very honored to be a part of and one of the main ambassadors for the Kevin Hellwood Foundation. And earlier this year, right after MTE, we did the silent auctions to benefit the Kevin Hellwood Foundation, and Dean King and myself donated a 2-week training course to the silent auction to help raise money for the foundation. Rodney won that auction and to send Taylor out here to be trained by me. So Rodney won the auction. We scheduled Taylor to be out here. We did a big Kiko training program out here last weekend where Danny Hacker and Chris White from Kiko were out here, and that was an awesome experience. And I scheduled Taylor's training around Kiko being here so he could get the opportunity to meet those guys and do that as well, in addition to the regular PDR training that he was going to do. So welcome, bud. It's been a pleasure.
It's been awesome to be here.
That's awesome. I mean, I've had a blast working with you. So tell a little bit about your background, your dad, if you want to, shamelessly plug, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, a couple years ago, I was working in a warehouse, waking up every morning at 3 a.m., and my girlfriend and I were visiting my dad. I was complaining about work, and he was about to take off, done with hail season, about to go down to Florida. And, my ears just kind of poked up, and I was like, tell me more about this off time. I haven't had off time since high school, really.
Right.
And so I pretty much went home from that trip and immediately went to, a local body shop, got a scrap hood, went to Home Depot, built me a little hood stand out of 2x4s. Watched about 4 YouTube videos and just got to work. I started saving all of my money. I wasn't spending money on anything, and I eventually just quit my job, hopped in his RV. I was living out of his bunkhouse for 4 months last summer, just R&I-ing, practicing in the corner. When he had some downtime, he'd come pop over and, tell me everything I was trying to do right and everything I was doing wrong. And, I got decent. I've been practicing a lot before I got here, and I kind of, was getting better. In the past, 6 months or so, it's just kind of leveling off, picking up some bad habits. And even before this training went to auction, my dad was just he'd come over, he's like, I'm going to send you to Lee. I'm going to send you to Lee. We have the same personality. We'll butt heads. So he's just I'm just going to send you to a professional, We're going to refine you. I picked up some bad habits that I got rid of here. And, when I was training for 6 months, and I was like, do I really want to go to California for 2 weeks, middle of the summer, to get trained by the guy who's dressed up like Elvis at MTE? And honestly, I showed up with the mentality of, let's just get through this. And today's my last day, and I'm bummed I have to leave. I love it out here. I love it here.
So, first of all, clarify something, because tell everybody how old you are, because you look like you're 15.
Right. I'm 33. I'm 33. So I started doing this right when I turned, or I guess right before I turned 32 is when I was all right, we're going to start saving up because I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to dive in this for real. And my dad's been doing it for 15 years. So I'd go visit him in a hailstorm if he was close to Memphis. And, I'd pick it up. I'm this is my future. I'd try for 5 minutes, but it's harder than it looks. Can't do it. I quit. I tried and quit 3 or 4 times before, eventually I had to. And I love it.
And so he's been in PDR and hail for 15 years, but he was in the body shop industry for 20
he retired
plus
from the
years?
body shop my whole life. He was in the body shop. Then once I got to college, he started traveling to do hail.
So you said the bad habits, which is easy to do when you're not, when you're not put down that right path
initially.
What were the bad habits that you had that I helped you correct?
Well, day one, probably the worst bad habit I had was I had a good push the first half of the push, and then I'd let it fall, And so all of my work was pretty choppy, looked like Braille. And one of the third thing Lee said was you want to make sure you push it and then you want to release it slow. I feel you might have compared it to a good push-up or something, how you want to do a push-up and then the come down, you're not just falling down, you're bringing yourself down. And it was just kind of one of those light bulb moments. I was like, wow. And I mean, I went out there and my first dent, all I was thinking was release it slow, release it slow, release it slow. And then, sure enough, very good dent I fixed. And I was just like, wow, we're all right. We're on to something.
Right. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was about to say another one, the worst bad habit I ever had is, and I still have it, I still catch myself doing it. I'll be pushing and pushing and pushing, and I'll just slowly bring it back to me as I'm pushing, my rod towards me. And so when I'll turn my light or something, and it's just a wall I've built of a high spot. And so I was just dragging my rod towards me and just building walls, really.
Which we talked about, and that is a common occurrence for a lot of technicians out there. I mean, because it's a weird dynamic of how our brain functions that even though we're searching for that deepest point and we're moving around and moving around and moving around, just subconsciously we have a tendency to push in a straight line. Yeah. It's just the way our brain is and our subconscious is, and experienced techs will do that sometimes too. I mean, I'll even do it every once in a while. I'll turn on a cross check, and I've got that ridge running through there.
Yeah,
so, especially on aluminum. But I know that was something that was bothering you. And then I think the other thing that we really worked on was your overlap.
Yes,
making sure those pushes were so tightly together that you didn't make those gaps.
Focusing on the overlap kind of kept everything so tight together. All my pushes so close together that there wasn't really the time to push up, come down, and then move around, because I'm pushing up and I'm kind of staying there, and it's just so minimal how much you're moving, and it's all repetition.
And I think you and I talked about this on your first day. It's one of the things that is the biggest misconception and the struggles for guys when they come into PDR is not understanding how meticulous of the movements that we make.
Yeah.
A lot of guys have body shop thought process where it's, I got a hammer and a dolly and I'm banging big metal out and I'm moving a bunch of metal at a time and everything. No, we're moving metal on micro centimeter. I mean, millimeter, not even a millimeter, in eighths and sixths of millimeters, that close and that tight with precision.
Is really insane to try to comprehend, when you just see the size of a millimeter printed on a sheet, and to know that you have to fractionalize that for, depending on how good you are.
Exactly. And it is. And that also kind of leads to what I always say about using a sharp tip tool, because there's a lot of people, a lot of guys, a lot of very incredible technicians that have been doing this for years that aren't into sharp tips, which is fine. I, as you know, am a sharp tip tool tech, and I love sharp tip tools.
Yeah.
And the reality of those are that not only can you get that precision with it because it's such a small tip, but you don't have to push as hard either. Everybody's so worried about cracking paint with a sharp tool. Sure, you can if you are stupid and you overpush and you don't learn that pressure. But yet you can be so deadly accurate and not have to push as hard because you're moving such a smaller amount of metal at a time.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was Randy Hobson or my dad that has told me when they've been watching me push, they're like, you are pushing to knock down and you need to push this thing to repair. You're pushing it up, making high spots, not really caring, be I'll just knock it down.
Right.
But you're saving yourself so much time, energy, and, your shoulders when you're just lightly pushing, just, just slowly get it up. When I first started, I was like, it's not working. One push. Why isn't it working? I was very impatient.
Well, and I think one of the things that also helped you is when I gave you that explanation of the push to resistance process.
Yes.
That, how when someone makes that stupid, nasty high spot that we've all done, it's not because you just arbitrarily push too hard. It's because you pushed too fast and you just ramrodded your way through it because you didn't have that control.
Right.
You just lost control is what you did. So that makes a huge difference too.
But like a lot of techs can look at that and see that that's the mistake I'm making. But I've been around a lot of techs that not one of them were like, just, slow the come down,
Right.
And day one here, that's what you get told.
Right.
That's the difference between
slow and steady.
You can be a great PDR tech and be a terrible teacher, which I think I've been, with all due respect to my father, I think I've been around.
Sorry, Rodney. I knew at some point he was going to try to throw you under the bus. But that is true. I mean, I personally know some of the best technicians in the world. Yeah. I truly do. I'm very fortunate in a lot of the people that I know. But that doesn't mean they can teach.
Right.
And I'm not claiming to be the best teacher or the best tech, but I'm really good at both, So I don't think there is such thing as the best technician there is.
Right.
You can't, you can't. How do you classify that? It's like somebody asked me when Danny Hacker was here with Chris over the weekend, who do I think the best big dent guy on the planet is? I refuse to pick one person, although, all right, Bryce. But my top three, I think hands down my top three are Bryce Kelly, Gene Fetty, and Danny Hacker.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. And there's a bunch of other guys out there that are phenomenal big smash techs. Don't get me wrong. There's a bunch of guys out there. But, we all have our different opinions, and all three of them can teach, obviously.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that the fourth guy down could even think about teaching it, whoever that happens to be. But yeah, it's a cool scenario when you can, you pick up on that and then instantly you go, oh.
Yeah, I had a few of those moments this week, and I was just like,
"That's what he was. That's what he was talking about."
Yeah,
right.
That's why I'm here.
Well, cool. I'm glad everything went well for you. It's been a pleasure for me working with you. I mean, I was, as you know, I talked to your dad multiple times, and of course, you mentioned Randy Hobson, who's a dear friend of mine and your dad's, and Randy, and who's actually the guy that started the foundation, and been helping him out as much as I can, and Randy's the same way, and Randy has taught, but we've had that conversation so many times.
Yeah.
But they're great conversations, and actually I had never met you until MTE.
Yeah.
I met your dad multiple times and talked to him before, but we had a great time at the bass tournament. The first annual bass tournament, and looking forward to the next one. And so it was when I found out that your dad bought the auction, when I saw it. And then I knew he was sending you. I was stoked. I really was. I was thrilled to death to have you come out. And it's also fun to, I love to give back to the industry. And you can't always do everything that you want to do for the industry, but it was also fun for Dean King to be able to give back to the industry and help not just the foundation, but someone that's been around the industry and the kid of an industry. Somebody that's well known in the industry and very successful in the industry. So that's always a super fun scenario. So It's been great for all of us having you here. Anyhow, I'll tell you what is something what's one suggestion that you would make to an up and coming person that maybe is either a brand new tech or that wants to get into it, maybe deciding on training, whatever, not looking for a plug for dinking or anything, just give a real good suggestion, what you think would help them.
I've got text messages to back it up. I have a friend who's trying to get in the business, and I was just like, just come here. I was like, just come here. You will start off so much further along than I did. And it's insane. Like the two people that I was training with all week had never picked up a rod before.
Never.
And what they ended at 2 weeks versus my first 2 weeks, it's like, you might as well have the pictures of our dents at the end of it. And it's like, this is why you go to training and this is why you don't train yourself.
Well, that's true. Yeah. and it is cool. Even for me, I've trained so many people over the years, but I still get that feel good moment. I'll give you an example. I had a guy I was texting with earlier today, he's a former student. I trained him down in Texas the last time I was there. Yeah. And he came to the Texas campus from Mexico. His name's Juan Jose. And we were texting today, and Juan only went through a 2-week course. And this was in late March or early April, I think was the last time I was down in Texas training a class. He did 2 weeks with me. He's pushing hail in South Texas right now.
I love it.
And successfully.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about he's out there pushing hail, wholesale hail and chewing stuff up.
Right.
He's pushing hail. And for me to hear that from one of my students, and I love the fact that I've got a lot of successful students, and I've got several of our trainers are my former students. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, and you're right. It has come so far, because don't forget, I'm a Dean King grad. I went through the school 20 years ago. Skip Phipps in Missouri is who trained me. And you got to meet Skip over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Or you met Skip at MTE.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you miss him?
Time.
Well, he was at the bass tournament. Oh, you missed him?
I didn't meet him.
So anyhow, yeah, Skip was out here. So I know what it feels like to go through this class. I have literally walked in y'all's shoes. So when I tell y'all stuff, sometimes for some people, you know, not everybody listens to me. I mean, some people get bored of listening to me talk. I can talk paint off a wall. We all know this. But, you know, a lot of times guys will go, well, wait a minute, he actually has been where I'm at.
Yeah.
He's experienced the struggles of trying to learn this. And I have. I'm 20 years into this. I consider myself pretty damn good. But trust me, I wasn't like that in class.
Right.
Ask Skip, he'll tell you. But so anyhow, it is a really cool factor when we can, you know, pay that back into in for y'all and make you successful. And that's always my goal. And people ask me all the time nowadays, it's like, well, why do you teach and not still pushing hail? Well, number one, I'm 55 years old. Yeah. I'm no spring chicken anymore. I can still do it. Shoulder's not as good as it used to be, but I can still do it, and I still love pushing hail. I still love pushing dents. I love putting the AirPods in, cranking the music up, being left alone, and just fix a car. Love it. Still to this day. Always will till the day I die. But being able to do what I do to help guys like you and guys like Cole, who now is an instructor here, and, you know, Brendan that's out there finishing up his first week.
Yep. The
guys that you were talking about that just left, you know, their 2 weeks, never picked up a tool in their life. It's cool.
Oh.
And I love it. And
it's awesome.
I'm glad that we have the opportunity, not just me, but Dean King as a whole and everybody involved with it, that we get that opportunity to help people.
Yeah. And I mean, I had 12 days here this week, and probably 5 or 6 of your old students just pop by saying, hey, come help out for a few days.
Well, and you notice how much my phone rings.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't. You know, constantly. It's former students. What do I do here?
Yeah,
what do
it's exhausting. Your phone ringing really exhausts me.
It's like, trust me, I want to throw it out the window most of the time. I've had 5 texts since we've been on camera right now. There's another one. It's crazy. It really is. I mean, I love it because I love communicating with people. I mean, you and I are going to keep talking.
Absolutely.
But I also tell everybody, it's like, if you ever need anything, I'm here. I'm not the mother bird that kicks you out of the nest and bye.
Go fly.
I'm here to help you.
Right.
I mean, and it doesn't matter if you do 2 weeks or 12 weeks, which is the length of our courses.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what that time frame is. I'm here for you. You know, when you're done, when you're back, when you're, you know, out there pushing, you're going and doing something, your dad's driving you nuts and y'all are on a hail car and whatever, and just pick up the phone call.
Yeah.
You know,
put it on
you know, you told me this, but what about this? Try, you know, whatever, you know. So all good. But no, I'm stoked that you've been here, and I'm glad everything worked out for you, and I really appreciate everything. And so I guess that I don't even know if I let you get to what the advice was. Get trained.
Come to Jenkins.
Okay.
Let's see if
I was like,
I'm leaving.
Did I cut him off? I wasn't sure.
I'm leaving here spreading the good word of the Ding King.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. We really do. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed this interview. If you get out to MTE, please come find myself and find Taylor. I know he'll be there. Also, don't forget about the PDR Expo in Vegas. If you need anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can find us at 1-800-344-3464, the Dean King website, the DeanKing.com. Hit us on Facebook. Hit us on Instagram. We're getting ready to have our TikTok page. So if you can't find us, you're not looking. Thank you all very much. We'll talk to you soon.